everyone, and welcome to another Into the Void Real Review. This time we are reviewing Bugonia, starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. This is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who directed Poor Things, also starring Emma Stone. I know he's directed several other movies like The Killing of a Sacred Deer, but Poor Things is the one I'm most familiar with, as it was one of my favorite movies of 2023. In Bugonia, we are following Emma Stone, who plays a CEO of a company, Michelle, who is kidnapped by two hooligans, Teddy and Don, played by Jesse Plemons and Aidan Delbus. You see, they believe her to be an alien.
Welcome to the headquarters of the human resistance.
Where's my hair?
Your hair has been destroyed.
This is a major premise of the movie, and I'm not going to go into specifics because you will want to go in blind as much as possible when you go to watch it. Bugonia will appeal to you if you can get past the initial slow start, because let me tell you, it was a slow burn for me at first. I want to be honest and say that I wasn't really feeling the vibe of this movie at first, because it really is just like the planting of a seed initially. If you have the patience waiting for that seed to germinate and ultimately grow into a flower, then you'll be rewarded with an interesting introspection into the art of manipulation and an examination into whether humanity is doomed for destruction no matter what happens. Is it the laws of nature that we're destined to be gone in a blip of existence on the historical timeline of the Earth, like the dinosaurs before us? Or are we in control of our destiny? Can we forego extinction if we can just be right in the head? Bugonia likes to play with the symbolic allegory of the honeybee, who's admirable, in that it goes about its job with no questions. Ignorant in its single-mindedness, never questioning, but also leaving it open to manipulation. Is that why the honeybee is destined to die out, as Teddy is so eloquently keen to remind his one and only friend Don? Is that why humanity is doomed, because if the honeybee dies out, several ecosystems will fall in a domino effect that will be catastrophic on a global scale? According to Teddy, this is why the honeybee is so important and must be saved no matter what. This correlates symbolically in the sense that humans, like honeybees, are in danger of being wiped out by aliens masquerading as humans bent on corporate greed.
There is no possible scenario where you benefit from this incident.
This is why, in the mind of Teddy, Michelle, corporate greed personified, must be kidnapped, because she is one of those aliens with the master plan of eradicating the human race. The first part of the movie takes the form of Teddy grooming the easily manipulated Don. Don has the mental state of an 8-year-old, and Teddy, he definitely takes advantage of that. He meticulously brainwashes Don in the beginning into prepping for the kidnapping that he implores with a psychotic obsessiveness that has to happen in order to save mankind from certain destruction. I honestly thought this part of the movie was a little tiresome, as I felt that I was being beaten over the head with Teddy's incessant rants of somebody that just isn't all there. Kudos to Jesse Plemons, who sells the role well, of someone who looks like they're strung out on meth, but really, it's just life in general that hasn't been kind to him. Surely, there's something in his past that has planted these seeds to his incoherent beliefs. We won't get into that here, as I think it's best, like I said, that you approach this movie with the least amount of information possible. In fact, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that Bugonia would have been much better served if its marketing didn't mention the alien plot. Like, why not have the kidnapping happen and leave us in the dark about why it's happening until later? I think that would have made for a more gripping narrative. The performances are the big selling point of why you should see this. As Emma Stone, she's fascinating in her baldness, and sometimes she comes off as psychotic too, but in a different way that is compelling. She just seems happy in being this two-faced, larger-than-life character who seems to project a work-life balance ethic that is really a cover-up for her capitalistic work ethic of no real greatness has ever been achieved without the self-sacrifice of long hours of putting your work above all other things. And poor Don, played excellently by Aidan Delbus, you feel bad for him because he's being used as a means to an end to Teddy's plot to expose the humans disguised as aliens who are out to manipulate humanity to do their bidding. How ironic is that? Teddy is just like the aliens he so vehemently despises. The movie, just like Teddy, grooms the audience into believing that Michelle's an alien, and yet there's this back and forth of whether it is true or not that will either keep you invested or just have you exhausted by the end to where you don't really care. Luckily, the movie gets much more interesting in the latter half when some horrific things play out that I didn't really see coming. Bugonia did surprise me in places and also bored me in some places, but it at least made me think about things that were uncomfortable. This movie is sometimes not pleasant in a good way in that it presents humanity in an authentic, ugly way that we can identify with. It's also funny in part due to the awkwardness of the characters and their ways of navigating the situations they find themselves in. I imagine the ending will leave people with mixed emotions. It will either turn you off or turn you on to the movie as a whole. It just ultimately relies on whether you buy into what Yorgos Lanthimos is saying on a metaphorical level. In a literal sense, it is definitely clunky and a little silly, but you don't watch his movies looking for literal meaning, but rather what he has hidden in the dusty corners. One thing I really enjoyed about this movie is that there's comedy, horror, and drama in it. When there's all that in a movie, it tends to suffer from tonal whiplash, but I felt Bugonia handled all those things in a nice cohesive package.
Okay.
I overall did enjoy Bugonia, even if it dragged at first, but I was pleasantly surprised where it ended up, even if I kind of knew where it might be going from the beginning. I loved the performances and the weirdness of it enough to recommend it. Bugonia gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Like and subscribe and all that mess. Let me know what you thought of Bugonia in the comments below, and I will see you the next time when we venture into the void.